Right guys, the ribs are on, so the next job is to put the sternum down the centre of the rib cage at the bottom. The way that I balance this, I usually find a box that the thing sits in, so as you can see the spine fits over the corner, same thing at the back, and then that allows good access to the ribs, and it's quite stable. It's much easier than trying to do it upside down for the first bit. The tools that you're going to need for this: a drill, galvanised wire. Obviously the drill bit needs to suit the size of the wire. You'll also need your pliers and side cuts for cutting the wire and for bending the wire. Obviously the sternum bones, which are going to be placed down the centre, and then finally the milliput. So you'll need milliput epoxy clay to do the actual finish on the ribs. First job is to drill the end of each rib to accept a wire. You can do this while the ribs are laid out. I didn't do it in this case. Sometimes I drill them before I fit them on. Sometimes I just drill while they're upside down. On a smaller animal, obviously, drilling more accurately, it's better to do it before you fit them. On a big animal like this, the end of the ribs are like the size of a penny, and I'm using a 1.5mm drill bit, so it's not really difficult. So I'm going to set to now and drill the end of these ribs. So stick with the video. The time lapse will go from there into the fitting of the wire, and then the epoxy clay will be the last job. Okay, so I've assembled the sternum onto a wire, and that now is ready to be fitted to the rib cage underneath. It's going to be suspended by wires from the end of the ribs. So obviously the first ribs go to the first part of the sternum, the second ribs go to the second part, third to the third, fourth to the fourth, etc, etc, until we get to the back, when the back ribs, when we get to this point, I'll be putting 3 wire attachments in here, and then the last ribs will attach to the wires from the last rib to attach to the sternum. It will make sense, but that is the best explanation I can give verbally, but I'm going to do that now. I'm going to pre-drill the sternum so that the wires can be slotted in from the rib into the sternum. So I'm now going to pre-drill this for the wire entries, which will be at these points, so at the back of the gap in between each of the sternum bones. So I'm going to do that off camera and then come back with a time lapse of putting the wire into the ribs and assembling up the whole of the cartilage system.